If you've been exposed to various media, Korea was one of the poorest countries in the world just 70 years ago. But now it has become one of the successful nations with competitive industries, such as music, film, automobiles, home appliances, and mobile phones. However, rapid growth in Korea has brought about its own set of side effects. One of these is the issue of foreign workers in Korea. Since the 1990s, Korea has seen the emergence of large and small companies based on manufacturing, experiencing rapid growth. At that time, it was an era where everyone could succeed by starting their own business, making it difficult to find workers. While searching for workers, Korea turned to neighboring countries like China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Philippines, where labor was cheaper. This led to the influx of foreign workers, especially from Southeast Asia, to Korea. Among them, there were many Chinese people who were familiar with Korea and could speak Korean, known as ethnic Koreans. They cleverly found what Koreans needed and utilized it to open their own companies or shops. Chinese residents in Korea live mainly in Incheon, Ansan, and Siheung, adjacent to Seoul, the capital city. There are over 800,000 Chinese residents in Korea, and it is predicted that the number will exceed 1 million in the coming years. Koreans tend not to visit areas where many Chinese people gather. This is because there is a perception that if Chinese people feel ignored, they resort to using knives to attack people. For example, if Koreans speak ill of China in a restaurant, Chinese people in the restaurant may attack the Koreans. Therefore, Koreans are cautious when talking about China and avoid areas where Chinese people go. Additionally, Vietnamese, Cambodian, and Filipino workers who were brought into Korea in the early 1990s were often ignored by Koreans. They were smaller in stature than Koreans and had darker skin, leading Koreans to discriminate against them racially. Despite being victims of Korean society, they couldn't quit their jobs because the wages in Korea were 10 to 20 times higher than in their own countries. Male workers usually work in hazardous manufacturing jobs or on fishing boats. Communication with Koreans isn't always accurate, leading to accidents such as losing limbs in machines or drowning in rough seas. However, if they quit their jobs and return home, they may not have the opportunity to come back to Korea, so they continue to endure and work illegally in Korea. Female workers also work in hazardous manufacturing jobs or restaurants, where they are often subject to sexual harassment by Korean men. Many Korean men in the 1990s and early 2000s treated Southeast Asian women disrespectfully, touching them as if they were bar hostesses. With the rise of YouTube, the behavior of Koreans towards Southeast Asians has been exposed and socially criticized. But as of 2024, many Koreans still ignore them. In the workplace or daily life, Koreans often use informal language banmal with them, leading many Southeast Asians to use it as well, even though it is inappropriate. Most Southeast Asians in Korea ride motorcycles and don't adhere to traffic regulations, maintaining the customs they learned in their own countries. Occasionally, some Southeast Asians buy cars and drive them, but Koreans can tell they are Southeast Asians by the old and dirty sports cars they drive. Southeast Asians working in Korea tend to avoid going to the city center and prefer to hang out in quiet rural areas. They fish in rural reservoirs and cook the fish they catch. While they live in company-provided dormitories, the environment is poor, and some freeze to death in the winter cold. Dreaming of working in Korea, they came to Korea, but the reality is a series of racial discrimination and difficult work. I hope for the day when they can laugh and converse with Koreans in good restaurants and bars. See you on next episode.